Hi guys, it is 4 a.m. I was supposed to be asleep. Here I am, ironically. I wasn't even gonna make this episode. This was an episode for my future self. Sometimes when an episode is so ambiguous in my head and it's just like, how do I go about this? That's my future self's problem. That's not my problem. You know, I was actually gonna make an episode on procrastination as a continuation of my last episode because I am an organized girl. Apparently not so much, because when I prayed Fajr, which was like 20 minutes ago, and I was like, I feel like I need to make this episode right now. You know, and here we are, looking at each other, where I am at 4 a.m. and where you are in the future. First of all, I would like it to be known that I like my videos to be for everyone. Everyone. Non-Muslim, Muslim, white, black, yellow, purple, red, orange, red. I guess, yeah, sure. I mean, join the party, you know. Male, female, but maybe not so male today, unless you want to feel a little bonita, then also join the party. And I love to include some research papers to make it seem like I know what I'm talking about, because it just gives you this aura, you know, of feeling smart. And like when after you read an abstract or two, you just feel like, do I get a PhD after this, or you know, what's gonna happen? You don't get a PhD. All you do is you get temporary information stored in your brain to use for something, and then it slowly fades away. But you know, I like to do that. But for this video, we're throwing that out the window, okay? It's still, I want it to be for everyone, but I'm like gonna speak from the heart for this because it's a very sensitive subject. And it's not a sensitive subject, I don't think. It's just, we don't talk about it enough. But like, it shouldn't be sensitive. If anything, it's quite dumb. Sorry, not like that, but it's just like, I can't believe I have to make a video about this. And well, here we are. Well, see, 4 a.m. Farah is not like regular Farah. This is the Farah that should be sleeping and dreaming right now. Okay, let's get started. It is probably most likely the case that you watching this have XX chromosomes. XX chromosomes, not XS chromosomes. Otherwise, that's not funny. I'm not laughing. Every girl at some point in her life wanted to feel pretty. You have wanted to feel pretty. I have wanted to feel pretty. The 80-year-old woman that you see in the supermarket wants to feel pretty. We all want to feel pretty. Or at least at some point we all wanted to feel pretty. But I'm here to argue that you don't have to be pretty. We have gotten into the age of so much advancement that we are focusing on some of the dumbest things ever, because we just have that much time now, apparently, on our hands, and we don't know what to do with it. And so we focus that time on our appearance, on the things that we can physically see and touch and taste with our senses. Hopefully not taste in this scenario, but you get what I'm saying. And throughout our childhood, throughout our lives, we have seen what pretty is, and we've seen how pretty is treated. We have seen how pretty comes in the form of compliments too, the way it shapes compliments. You know, you don't see compliments like, wow, I love your nose. It's huge. Amazing. Although I would like to see a future where there is one of those compliments, but I don't think we're going to see it in this generation. That's fine. But the compliments can already tell you what the beauty standard is and the culture that we have grown up with. You know, cultures are different from the West and the East and all of that sort of stuff. But you do see common features that make up pretty. And I'm here to argue that you really don't need to be pretty. Why? Because it's all been a lie. Oh my God, that rhymed. I have this theory that if it rhymes, it's true. Please don't try to counter my theory with an example. Let me ask you a question. When was the time you were the happiest? Or, okay, that's a hard question. When was the last time you were really, really, really happy? Like you were just like, your heart was like exploding with fireworks, and there were balloons, and there was confetti and pink sparkles. Yes, that's how I picture my insides when I'm really happy. Well, okay, I'll tell you my last time. My last time was when my mom and I sat in the cinema about to watch a kids movie, and we both had our popcorn ready, and I had my slushie on my right, and it was awesome. Now, remembering back to that memory, that really good memory that I had, was I pretty? Do you see how dumb that is? Do you see how so insignificant and irrelevant that thought is? Because I didn't take pictures at that time. I was just living in the moment. I was just being present, you know? And sometimes when we are really present and we are so happy in the moment, what do we like to do? We like to snap a picture. Snap, snap. And then we're like, oh my God, we're gonna post this on our feed, on our, dude, I sound like a grandma talking about this, but we're gonna post this, you know, because I was so happy at that moment, I wanna post it. But wait, I don't look good. Okay, then I guess it's not post worthy. I'm not sitting here to tell you to post your happy moments. I'm saying that the concept of pretty, the idea of pretty, is so stupid. Like, it's so unimportant. And I think it takes a lot more space in our brains than it should. If anything, it shouldn't take any space, if anything. Because honestly, when I wanted to make this episode, I wanted to talk about the things that are so much more worthwhile than thinking about being pretty or not. Because when you want to be pretty, when you aspire to be pretty, all you can think about is how to enhance yourself physically. You know, it even gets to the point where you think of even surgical stuff, and you start to obsess over things. And it's like, you actually don't need to do any of that. Like, go read a book or something. No, I'm going to lay upon you a very uncomfortable truth, but you have to accept it, otherwise I will shove it in your throat. Okay, some people have won the genetic lottery. Maybe a lot of people in your life, depending on where you are. And that's it. They're pretty because they are just genetically that way. Some people have not won the genetic lottery. I'm not here to talk about, oh, boo-hoo, I look the way I look. I think I am beautiful. I'm going to distinguish between beautiful and pretty later. And I think you already know what I'm going to talk about. But it's like, pretty is based on society's standards. And we know society's standards. We know it's the big eyes and lashes, and the eyebrows need to be a certain way depending on the trend. And the nose has to be so small and pointed, or just in a way aesthetically pleasing. And the lips have to be plump. And God forbid she has a double chin. And if she has a forehead more than 4 fingers, or even 3, no, she's so far out gone, you know, from the scope of being pretty. It's like, we know these standards exist. Maybe we don't know them by definition, but we know they exist. And so some of us actually spend time and energy dedicated towards trying to fix these things that we think are problems on our faces. When we're born the way we are, you know, I was born with my grandpa's nose. Thank you, Grandpa, for this amazing nose that can smell pretty much everything. When I was younger, I would fixate on my nose. I would look at my nose and I'd be like, I wish it was pointed. And so I would search up rhinoplasty because that was the sensible thing to do at that time, and I'd look up costs, and then I'd look up the procedure itself, and I'd see all the blood, and I'd be like, God, ew. But it's so worth it. It was the ultimate, peak of the brainwashing that I endured. But now I just am aware that my nose is for smelling. And that's that. We leave it at that. No more, no less. Unless it's less, in which case there is definitely something to fix. But we have this finite time and energy. And our face is already okay. Our body, if we're taking care of it and we're moving and we're being healthy with the way that we use it because it was entrusted with us, is okay. Then I have this finite time and energy, and I need to dedicate them to something more important, something actually useful. Because fixing my nose to look more like a white girl's nose is not going to do anything for society. And it's not going to do anything for my happiness. Because it was never useful in the first place, and it was never important in the first place. To entertain these tedious thoughts and these brain-numbing, dumb thoughts, I'm calling them dumb because I'm calling them out, and I had them, is to set yourself up for just a very miserable life, if I'm being honest. It's not a fun life when all you're thinking about is how you look, because life was not meant to be lived that way. Life was meant to be lived creating things and doing things and learning things and living in the present moment and making what you can out of what you have. Not about fixing things that never needed fixing in the first place. And by the way, Allah gives everyone something. And for some people, it is really being very conventionally pretty. And to an extent where that is actually their test. Imagine being tested with being pretty. I am so glad that I don't have to endure. No, it's not funny. Don't laugh. This is serious. We can look to the story of Prophet Joseph, peace be upon him, Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, when he was literally molested for being pretty. I don't like to put it in those words, but yeah, half of all the beauty that ever exists went into his creation, his physical creation. And our minds cannot fathom what that means, by the way. Not even close. And so we can imagine how hard that test was. I will forever and always be grateful for any form that Allah could have created me in. Always. I'm grateful for the way that He created me. Because I notice that when I talk, when I ponder something and I talk about it and I get deep into it, people listen. People hear what I have to say. Even if it's not that deep, but that people listen. And they don't get distracted and they don't have to watch the clip twice because they fell in love with me through my face. And I know that sounds weird, but it actually happens over the internet. Welcome to the internet. It's a very strange place. I love that all the attention goes on the words that are coming out of my mouth. And I even try and enable that by wearing the same thing every single time. Now, obviously, I have failed in this scenario, but what I try to do is I try to wear something that does nothing to help my appearance, at all, And I like to have it in the same setting, and I like to be barefaced, and I like to be raw. That really sounds not right. It's just being in this form, I just feel like I can soar. feel like I am in the state of perfection to go to the top and never stop. Oh my God, that rhymed again. Because when I'm talking and I'm delivering messages, especially on my social media, and I've been doing this for a while, it's something that I deem so important. It's something to me that I feel is like my calling, like I have to do this. So showing up the way that I do and looking the way that I do, it's almost like I am guaranteed that people will listen to what I have to say and not gawk at my face. And honestly, that makes me really happy. Now, let me make the distinction between being pretty and being beautiful. I think we all know where this is going. Being pretty is by these social standards. It's what we all, as a society, for some reason, have chosen to be the top notch of features on the face. Don't ask me where it came from. Honestly, I'm not that interested. But being beautiful, first of all, we were all born beautiful. I know there are some babies that look questionable, but it's by the deeds that you have done through your life that either makes your face look better or it worsens it. Now, I personally believe this is through Islam. If you are a Muslim and a good believer and you do a lot of good things, it really does show on your face. And even non-Muslims too. You see really good people in life, despite them not being Muslims, but that their face is just so soft and comfortable to look at, and that's beautiful. You really feel comfort, and that's where the beauty comes from, is that peace distilled within them. And then you see people that are cray-cray, and they have done some mad, crazy stuff in their life, and that shows on their face too. No, I'm not talking just about drug addicts. I'm talking about all people. That's not funny. You feel a discomfort towards them, not because maybe they look ugly. No, maybe they have nice features actually, but something is off deep within them that it actually reflects on their face. There is something inside not functioning properly. And well, for some people, they can really feel that. And for some people, they can't really feel that. Let's not get into that too deep because I have very strong opinions on this and I will definitely offend a lot of people. But let's reinstate the fact that beautiful does not mean pretty and pretty does not mean beautiful. They, to me at least, are two very different things. Now, delving a little bit into another subject, we are in space and time, in the space-time continuum that I find a little bit strange. I find a little bit weird, and I will tell you why. We have something called Hijabi fashionistas. I'm not judging. I'm actually seriously not judging, because when you judge, you start to become the thing that you judge. And so that's why I'm not judging, because I have fallen into that too. But we have started to thread the idea and concept of prettiness with the hijab, the sole thing that we have to protect us from that concept and that trap that we can fall into so easily. And now we have idolized this, and we have started following all of these hijabi, amazing, pretty looking models online. Maybe not even models, maybe regular people, but they just know how to look really pretty. Or maybe they just are really pretty. No, I'm not saying there's something fundamentally wrong with that, with the fact that they look pretty. It's the fact that we have given attention to this. We have fallen into this. It's the fact that we think that this is normal. And I'm not here to shame, because honestly, I've learned the hard way to not shame. Trust me, I've fallen into that trap several times, and I don't want to fall again. But I'm saying to you specifically, because I don't like talking to just general people, like I'm talking to a wide crowd. No, when I'm talking to the camera, I'm talking as though I'm talking to a single person that's listening to me. I'm saying, who do you follow? Who do you give time and attention to? Because these people that you watch on social media, these people are almost streaming into your subconscious without you realizing. And they're making the architecture of your brain without you realizing. And it's not up to you. But it's these trends that keep coming along. If you give them the attention, it's their choice. It's not yours. And so I really want you to ask yourself also, who are you following? Because I asked myself this a long time ago, and I realized, wow, I'm really putting my time and energy, attention in the wrong places. Because when you make all that you are on the social media realm about looks, about how you look, about how you are presented in a certain way, it's like, what do you benefit from that? Especially, and I stress this because I care about it, if you are a Hijaba and you really actually care about this, it makes no sense to me. I'm so sorry. It had to come from me. I'm sorry that you feel that way. Sorry, that was funny. Just came to my head. I see Muslim women on social media, some of them on TikTok and on Instagram, that spread the most beautiful messages about the deen, about even things besides the deen, like history and stuff, and just stories. But they take away any power that society can have over them by not falling into the trap of having to look a certain way, by just looking the way that they are. And it does not matter, because what they have to say is more important than how they look. And I'm not saying that you should show up stinky and fugly and weird looking. Sorry. I'm saying take care of yourself, but do not be excessive in that. Do not go overboard with your looks just to be pretty, because it's not worth it. You have more important things to do. And I'm here to remind you that you have more important things to do. And your life is a lot more than that. And that you need to focus and get back to work. We're not here to be pretty. Even when we start to grow up and we start to get married and whatever it is, it's not just about being pretty. It never was about just being pretty. It was never about pretty in the first place. And yet sometimes it seems like that. Thank you, social media, for that. Thank you so much. You have done your part. Now I'm telling you, you don't have to be pretty. So whenever you get the thought of, oh, I'm not pretty, or oh, my eyes could look like this, or my nose could look like this, my lips could use a little filler. I've had that thought once or twice. You know, I could use some Botox, I could use some filler, I could use this and that and whatnot, and oh my God, this new product just came in, and oh my God, da 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 da. Look at a sunset. Does a sunset need Botox and filler? No, it doesn't, because it's a sunset, and it's beautiful, just the way that it is. Now look at yourself. You're beautiful just the way that you are. You're fine. You don't need anything. Just be happy with what you have. And it's a lot easier said than done, but you have to work towards that. And it might take work, and it might take tears, and it might take friggin' pain. But if it takes you to being okay with what you look like, it's worth it. So that was my message. That's all I gotta say. Okay? Okay. Now I think I'm going to pull an all-nighter, because I'm not going to go back to sleep. That's not a good decision to make. hope you guys like this video. Oh, well, I hope you like got some benefit from this video more than anything. And I will see you in the next episode. Hopefully that's gonna be about procrastination. Yep. Okay. Bye bye.